once again, dear viewers, you're watching ERi-TV. Welcome to this special edition of Open Mic. Today is 16th of October 2023, and we are celebrating World Food Day under the central banner, Water is Life, Water is Food. So, dear viewers, we will be bringing you excerpts of interviews to highlight the significance of the day and the progresses Eritrea has made in the food security program and other programs that it has. Thank you so much for joining me, so please do stay tuned.
This year's World Food Day, as was stated before, the theme is Water is Life, Water is Food. As we address this important topic, we are touching the fundamental aspect of our existence, a resource so precious and essential that it sustains all life on this planet. Water is not merely a basic necessity, it's the very foundation of our existence. It's a source of life and a symbol of purity, bringing both growth, rejuvenation, and vitality. We often take water for granted, assuming that it will always be readily available for us. However, the reality is far from this. Our world is facing environmental water crisis, and it is our collective responsibility to take action. Distinguished participants, water scarcity is not limited to a few remote regions. It is a global issue. Drought is becoming more pronounced. Rivers are drying up, and water resources are depleting at an alarming rate. As population continues to grow, so does the demand for water. Agriculture, industry, and daily activities are placing an unprecedented strain on our water resources. If we continue on this path, it won't be long before we face a severe shortage of water, jeopardizing our own survival. Distinguished participants, the trend that I have described above is also true in Eritrea. Because of deforestation and climate change, our rivers, lakes, and rainfall are constantly declining. It is precisely for this reason that the government has been launching serious programs on soil and water conservation in general and building different-sized dams in particular. The number of reservoirs constructed since independence have grown by 8 times. As a result, crop production has increased by 2 times, while vegetables and fruits have increased by 6 times and 71 times respectively. The correlation between the increase in water holding capacity and production clearly demonstrates that water is also food. Distinguished participants, before I conclude, I would like to announce that Eritrean dates packaged in a specially designed 1 kg box will be displayed and tasted for the first time. This crop will be on upward trend the next few years. Considering the preciousness of water and its scarcity, the world is going through drop per crop philosophy in order to utilize water judiciously. We are also following this trend by constantly shifting from furrow irrigation to pressurized irrigation.
We're gathered here today to celebrate the World Food Day and the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty. Now, World Food Day is an international day commemorated every year worldwide on October 16. It was established by the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO's member countries on the organization's 20th General Conference and has since been observed in more than 150 countries. There is a different theme for World Food Day every year. This year's theme is Water is Life, Water is Food. Now, we focus on water because water is essential for life on Earth. It makes more than 50% of our bodies. It covers more than 71% of the Earth's surface, and it is the foundation for food.
Today, the Minister of Agriculture has through this World Food Day and the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty, what it has done was it has raised its awareness in what it was doing before in food security, food safety, and food nutrition. In the past, the Ministry of Agriculture has been working in food security now, and then later on it changed its goal to food and nutrition security. Last year, Eritrea has become one of the data producing countries, so especially in the region of Northern Red Sea and the Southern Red Sea. So to show that we are able to do this, it is there as in the display. Second, there is top bar hives as well. Last year, the production of honey has become lower. This is due to the expenses that is required is high for the beehive production itself, the beehive itself. So top bar hive is a method in which the farmers can easily find accessible materials to make that beehive, so that the expenses could get lower and the production can get higher. And also to commemorate this day's theme, water is life, water is food, we have shown a displays of different drinks, such as squash is there from cactus fruit, pumpkin is there, pumpkin juice is there, and as well as sweet potato juice is there. And also other products are there, dairy products, meat products, and so on.
Actually, this is the most celebrated day in the UN. This day, it's celebrated at more than 150 countries. As you know, the theme is water is food and water is also life. Because without water, nothing can be done. This time, you know, water is being exploited by so many organizations. We are polluting water. Everybody is polluting water. It's abundant, but already now it's in the verge of depleting, because, you know, the uses that this water is being stressed by individuals, by companies. Agriculture takes, for example, like more than 72% of water uses. So I think we need to be efficiently used, cleanly used, and particularly we have to use it efficiently with less water and more production. So technology, innovations, and the cleaning of it, the wastewater part is particularly depleting and polluting the groundwater, our surface water, so we have to take care of. So this is an action that has to be taken by everybody.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as we are gathered here today, it is important that we reflect the good work Eritrea has done to eradicate poverty. Dignity, indeed, is a fundamental pillar upon which this country is built on. In light with this, we are pleased to note efforts made by Eritrea to put people and sustainable prosperity at the center of the development agenda. We also recognize the continuing efforts in providing equal access to socio-economic resources and opportunities to ensure that all people can live with dignity. We recognize that, of course, more needs to be done in addressing the challenges to eradicate poverty, to strengthen our food systems, climate resilience, and access to clean water and energy. And UNDP remains committed with you on this endeavor. Marhaba.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's great to be here. Today is the World Food Day, but also the day to celebrate poverty eradication. And so it's good to be here. The Minister of Agriculture organized this fantastic event. We've seen here today a lot of the senior ministers in the government, the diplomatic community, UN heads of agencies, but also, you know, farmers and others who are working in the field to make this a reality. So it's very, very, very nice to be here today.
Well, this is a global event. It's not just happening in Eritrea. And the importance of it is essentially to demonstrate the centrality of water to life, and the importance of preserving water and using it efficiently, especially in promoting agriculture, you know, as it were. So water is needed for agriculture, and agricultural production is needed for poverty reduction. As it were, both as a source of food, but also as a source of livelihoods going forward. So this is the importance of this day and the importance of the theme that was selected for this year.
So I mentioned in my talking points today that poverty is very multi-layered. It's very complex. There is sort of a previously a way of thinking about addressing poverty just by addressing food systems or by income generation. But we know that there is a lot more now. It's a lot more complex, and it runs across all of the SDGs. So I think as UNDP, that's our biggest understanding and because entry point into the country. So in everything we do, for example, in our support to the government on their planning processes, in the SDG, achieving the SDG processes, but also in the projects we have on income generation, but in environment as well. We really look at how we address the poorest people in the country, those that are most left behind. So that's our entry point into the country, yeah.
Starting from the verge of the independence, the government has been making more efforts towards harvesting water. But more is needed actually, particularly on efficient use of water. As you see, for example, most of the farmers depend on rain-fed. We have to change this. Even the irrigation part, the irrigation is also consuming a lot of water because we are using furrow irrigation. Because, the water can take, say, for example, 10 millimeter, but actually we are exploiting gallons and gallons of it. So I think we have to use it efficiently, and the technologies that we use, but particularly awareness is very much necessary on the production side and as well on the consumption side, and even between the value chain, the supply value chain aspects.
The whole day, if we look at the theme of the World Food Day, the ministry has constructed over 800 water reservoirs all over the country since independence.
Drought is affecting because we are always depending on rain-fed. Still, we have not reached the capacity, but I think we need also to define well what food security means. That does not mean only produce what the food you need. So if you produce a maximum surplus in so many crops, you can also import others in deficit crops that you need. So I don't think we will do it. So we have to go strategically. Say, for example, in the highlands, the wheat that we grow, the sorghum, and also the vegetables and cereals, that's good food security to have. Because food is considered here, food security is considered that if you have wheat, they say they are secured. If you don't have wheat, they are not secured. So I think on both sides, the livestock, the fisheries, and also the crop side, all has to be integrated. And particularly fisheries are not being accounted here. So I think we have to work a lot also in the blue economy that has not been yet tapped, but we are working hard to reach that. But particularly we need to have an amount that we need for the demand of the crops, the livestock, and the fisheries that we need. I think we need to work hard on that one. We have to know perfectly what is the amount of water that we have at hand, and what do we need to produce for those. So I think this have to be complemented and adjusted. Otherwise, Eritrea can do its own sustainability, and also a sufficient crop can be harvested definitely. That's for sure.
Well, I think Eritrea has done commendable work, really, in the conservation and the management of water resources. But also in making sure that the population, particularly in rural areas, has access to water, not just for their use, but also for their economic activities, for agriculture going forward. So I think Eritrea is well positioned, essentially, to support the conservation of water, the efficient use of water, but also expand agricultural production, both as a business, as we saw in one of the demonstrations, but also as a way of generating food security at the household level and as well as at the country level.
The awareness aspect is still missing. we have to reach particularly the farmers. That has to start with the farmers. So the conservation of water, because the farmer is simply depending on God, just. But we have to harvest water and we have to use it efficiently, and that needs also to be taught by the experts that we have at all levels, and the implementing partners should work hard on that one, because we say no one should be left behind. That's the case. Everybody has to know how are we going to produce, whom are we going to cheat, how are we going to reach the demand, and what is the supply would be. Otherwise, that can be reachable. The awareness part should be stressed and managed very well.
We planted date palm. We imported 9 varieties, international varieties. And on 2001, 2002, it was fruiting. And we were really more than happy to see that date palm can produce correctly and good quality of international quality, international high varieties known by the international market, like Majhoul and Barhi, etc. So we started, and our mission now with the Ministry of Agriculture is to build a date palm sector in Eritrea, to make Eritrea be one of the producers countries for dates. We are planning a strategy with Ministry of Agriculture and with the support of UN agencies, UNDP, FAO, IFAD, to reach around 300,000 palms by 2030. Then we will talk about a producer country. And then we will talk also about the possibility of to export dates. Dates and date palm can really be enhancing a lot the economy of the northern and southern Red Sea region. These two regions are very appropriate for date palm, and we were really happy and unexpected results for huge growing and production of date palm.
So we are also very excited about it, as you saw in the film. It's a climate crop, and it has the potential to be a crop that we can actually export and bring, foreign investments, foreign currency to the country. So these initiatives are very long term. These are early days. The initiative started some 5 years ago. We now have, literally tasting the first fruits of our efforts. And then hopefully in another, by 2030, Eritrea will be in a position to export date, which is what we are all working towards, yeah.
Date palm is really a sacred crop. As has been said, this is very important, particularly for arid zones. Date palm is a special crop because it sustains drought, particularly. And if managed properly, I think we can cover the whole of arid zones in the northern and southern Red Sea. So the plan is just to reach around 300,000 plant trees to have in the northern Red Sea. So even we can export. As you see today, we have shown this is the result of a 5-year program that we have done since 2007. And exemplary farmers, as you have seen, maybe you have tested it. Now we reach to the packaging. So the remaining one is now to mobilize resources and extend as much as possible.
I can tell you that a country like Tunisia, for example, we are producing 350,000 dates per tons, 350,000 tons of dates. And we are gaining per year around $400 million from dates to export them. For the moment, the short-term objectives are to have a budget for the families and to have security food security for this region. Then also we are targeting production, exporting, and gaining international currency. So I think it's a huge thing for the economy of these two regions.
I think it's possible. I think we're on the right track. The point is to scale. And I mean, if you recall, one of the presentations was that at independence, you had a handful of dams that provided water to rural areas and rural communities and also. Now you have over 800, which means there's been tremendous investment and growth. So the possibility of attaining food security by 2030 in terms of the SDGs is real. We just need, it doesn't happen by itself. We have to continuously work on it and maintain due diligence in ensuring that the investments are made, that the use of water resources and even land and other natural resources is efficient, you know, in going forward. So I remain optimistic, essentially. Part of it is because of what we have seen now, the levels of production of food, the levels of provision of water to rural communities, as it were, and also for commercial agriculture going forward. So it all looks good. But like I said, it doesn't happen by itself. We have to continue working hard. And the government has to continue providing leadership. The ministry has to provide the technical work that is required. And we, as the United Nations, will remain available to serve as partners to government in this journey.
One of the key components is already mentioned today, and today also being World Food Day, which has a big focus on water, is our support to how we can support the country in access to clean water, and also very instrument in that is also energy. So these are two projects that we have. There is a big focus for UNDP, where we will be providing assistance support to the government to really look at what are the practical green energy sources that Eritrea can access, but also within that umbrella, what are the options for clean water and clean access to water. Yeah.
The point is essentially, the message is water is life. We depend on water for a lot of things, as mentioned in the discussions this morning. What is important is essentially to just to maintain due diligence and going forward, continue in water, investing in water conservation, efficient use, both domestic use, but also for agribusiness going forward, and addressing the needs of the people, in particular rural communities, and in particular women farmers and youth going forward. So it's all good, and congratulations. And it's been a very successful day, and I want to commend the Minister of Agriculture and his leadership for organizing this, but also for the demonstration of what is possible and what is available. Some of the value added on crops that we have seen in this hall, essentially, is really very, very impressive. I think what needs to be done next is to bring it to scale. I kept asking, where can we buy these products in the regular outlets, the supermarkets and all? And if they can bring some of these new products to market at scale, I think it will enhance, their livelihoods, and it will also make it possible for some of us to buy and have a steady supply of these products.
From today, we hope that through this, what we have done to show by these exhibitions and by the shows today, we hope that we have transferred our message to the policymakers, to the stakeholders, to the beneficiaries, so because they are the ones to make the change.
This is just to say that it's a good day, and we are very happy to be here. And we are very happy that UNDP's work is impactful, and it contributes to meeting the vision of the government and the people of the country.
Dear viewers, thank you for joining me this evening with the excerpts of the interviews that we have presented for you on the occasion of World Food Day under the central banner, Water is Life and Water is Food. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you gained something from it. It is good night from me.